Good morning and welcome to The Point. It is Friday, October 2nd, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20, and good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. It is Open Line Friday here on the program where we give you, our viewers and listeners, an opportunity to call in and share anything you think we need to be made aware of, things that are happening in your community. If you have questions, comments, queries, concerns about anything, this is your chance to share and or ask. 435-2041, that's the landline number. It's also the WhatsApp number, but please only written messages on WhatsApp. No voice or video calls, no YouTube links, no videos, pictures, only written messages on WhatsApp. You can also participate in the program on the GBN Television Facebook page as well as the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. Many things happening, and this is your chance to weigh in. All right, let's go to our first caller. Good morning, caller. Good morning. All right, don't seem to have that caller. Let me check the social media in the meantime before the phone rings again. All right, nothing on the YouTube as yet. Anything on the Facebook? Not as yet. All right, and then let me go to WhatsApp. All right, somebody on WhatsApp says, my problem is I want the authority or the police to act to solve a problem with a woman that goes around town every day telling people they work in Obia, calling them rapists, and even spitting at people in the heart of town. I had enough with her, and someone needs to put a stop to her. Really? Okay. Let me go to the landlines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Blossom, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
I had a little, I want to know what the call and reinforce the need for the heritage committee or the Ministry of Tourism or Ministry of Health or whoever responsible, that they need to focus on tourism as well, to focus on the tourist sites that we visit all the time, and also the summer houses, places where we go and enjoy Grenada's natural beauty. I think that we are not taking enough time to upgrade it, keep it to a standard. I've been to several of them, even in the botanical gardens, which is the most outstanding one, because that's where the government houses and everything, the ministry. And some things are so dilapidated, and it needs cleaning, it needs refreshing, it needs painting over, they need the garbage, all over the place. Sometimes when you go, you're wondering if it's a dumb place you're going to relax and enjoy the beauty of Grenada. So my encouragement is for whoever is responsible for upkeeping. If you want to say Grenada is a pure place, pure Grenada, we want it to be pure clean, not pure dirty and dilapidated. I find they need to refresh the place. Some of the places are broken now. I mean, even Cameron Park, some things are being just broken now and they're not repairing it. So my thing is, please, whoever is responsible, whether it's the heritage people or whether it's the tourism board or whoever, they need to have some committee in the parishes and the country all around, picking up garbage, cleaning up the place and keeping the place to a standard so we can continue to call it pure Grenada.
Okay. And thank you so much, caller. Thank you for your contribution. 435-2041, that's the landline and WhatsApp number. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Blossom.
Good morning, caller.
Blossom, I'm very concerned about the amount of xenophobia that's in the country these days regarding Chinese. Chinese want to take over and all kind of nonsense. I have not seen any evidence of that. And I think it's very disingenuous of people to be saying that. I am not going to be like that minister who said that Chinese are feeding us. But to be honest, I have not seen any evidence of that type of nonsense. I can recall when I first went up to the UK in 1958. It's the same thing that was happening regarding immigrants, especially black immigrants to the United Kingdom. Powell and all those people had this thing about blacks coming to take over. Paul spoke about the rivers of blood and all those type of things like that. Now, show me really where the Chinese have actually shown any evidence of taking over Grenada. I have seen that they have helped in many ways and still continue. In fact, yesterday they were supposed to be in Carico, an agricultural mission and so forth. And other things, come on, let's be real about it. Have the Chinese shown any evidence of trying to take over? What has Grenada got to offer the Chinese that they want when they have all their things? They have been helping Africa to emancipate itself, while the West actually paid lip service and never did anything. The Chinese were able to give us guns and other things like that to fight, to fight the type of things that were going in South Africa and other places like that. And many other things I can tell you about what has happened. They have helped economically to build that railing between Tanzania and Zanzibar and other places like that. And, okay, it fell apart because the inefficient management they had in the country, this is why they had to go back to help them. And in several other instances where they have gone back into the country to help, not to take over. It grieves me to see that people who come to help you, you are turning that type of nastiness against them. I have more to say about this, but time is going, and I think my credit is going to finish. Have a good day, Blossom.
Thank you very much, caller. And I too share your concerns about the xenophobia. Xenophobia meaning discrimination against other nationalities. I don't know how to say it. I think a lot of times we see and hear happenings in other parts of the world and take it to mean that it would happen here, or that it is happening, and we take everything that somebody says as gospel and somebody's belief as gospel and run with it. And I just think we are a little too focused on the negatives that could possibly happen from people who have helped us. So I am concerned as well, because every time they mention Chinese nationals, it's always with a little bit of disdain and sometimes bordering on disrespect. So I share your concern, caller. Let me make the rounds on social media before I go back to the phone lines. All right. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. On this morning.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Hello? 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 All right, caller, call back. You're listening to the television. When you're calling the program, mute your television or radio or social media. You would hear me through the telephone, because there's a delay in the broadcast on the visual platforms, which would distract you from flowing properly. So if you're calling the program, when you're calling the program, just mute your wherever you're watching or listening to the program, and you'll hear me through the telephone. Good morning, caller.
Morning, greetings, Blossom.
Greetings.
Yeah, well, my point this morning, Blossom, is that I think we have to open our eyes wider. Because one man coming and talk about this and that and how much we do and how much help they come to give us. It have a bigger parcel than that. We have to look at America and China. Look them now in the conflict and confusion. Look in Africa, if this guy was talking, they doesn't understand what's happening. Right now, Chinese, they're on the shoulders of black people in Africa. They're like kings in Africa. And you know what they are doing? They open a big pile of money for us. And we don't look back to see where we could get a post that we could pay them back when we borrow, as the leader say already. When you borrow, you're bound to pay back because they can't take the land. They go come and occupy the land. And I say, the history in Grenadian don't like no history at all. The one they must pay attention to is that concerning the Lippers Hill. We didn't just leap over there. We was killed and thrown over there. And I'm saying the same people is at large. No, all of them had the part on us. Black people have to wake up. We want too much a friend, and who we want a friend, we don't want us for friends. There is Africans in China just the same way. And the treatment on Africans in China, I don't think it's going to be any different to anything happening in Grenada here. It only take a matter of time. Look the project up in St. Patrick's. Why should they are secret and hiding behind and going and contaminate, as the lady say lately, that they're going and they feces into the lake just to bring the fishes up so they can catch it. Look, Grenadians, wake up on all yourselves. Our leaders sell their soul, and they want to sell us too. Now, let us not get sold so we could be able to defend our children from getting sold. Give thanks, my sister.
Give thanks, caller. Thank you very much. Making the rounds. All right, back to the telephone. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning to you all this morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Well, just fine. Yeah, and I just call this program, and last night I called real estate programs, and a mistake I make, I give my number on air. And from the time I give my number on air, from the time I hang up my phone last night, this person took my number that they have nothing to do. They too idle. All this morning when I call Shaggy program, I hang up again. The person is still calling me. The number is 421-8839. When a man don't have it, you doesn't know me and I do not know you. 421-8839. I called the station already. They trying to call him, but he's not answering the phone. Go and work land. Go and plant food to feed your family if you have a family. Go up in Granita and help the government cut down bamboos. Go and plant food. Do not waste. Maybe people like Aliso must be getting a handout. Now, I don't have to take light to shine on you. Please, brother man, don't call my number because you do not know me. I don't know you. Don't call me number. Last night you harassing me. You only calling, you harassing me for no reason, no cause at all. Straight up, go and plant food. If you haven't got land, go out and ask somebody for a piece of land to work. Plant food to feed all you on all you nation. Check. I am a farmer too, but I do not go this kind of way with people. And that's an offense because I did not give him my number. That's an offense. 421-8839. Miss, you have a good morning.
Thank you, you too.
All right.
Leave the gentleman alone. The 421 number that is harassing him, please leave him alone. Like he said, he's already reported you to the police station, so I suggest you stop before things get out of hand. I am not sure what the discourse is that you're calling him or the reason why you're calling him, but cease and desist. Somebody on WhatsApp says, to be honest, I am ashamed of how some of us Grenadians carry on platforms that reach such a far and wide audience. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Now, I don't want to equate suspicion and fear that people hold with regards to things that are not transparent. I don't want to equate that kind of feeling to xenophobia. The Chinese are totally different people from Grenadians, not only in color, but especially in culture. The government is not fair to Grenadians. We see a number of Chinese in the country, And we see a number of projects that they are undertaking, and the government has never come forward to clearly outline the nature of the projects, the funding of the projects, and the results. The fact remains, you cannot feel comfortable in your country where you are born and bred with people like the Chinese. In fact, whether the United States is wrong or right, the United States clearly accuses China of the present pandemic in which the world is in. As a matter of fact, I have interacted with some Chinese, and their interaction with me didn't give me a positive feeling about them. I am afraid if we are swamped by the Chinese here, we would find ourselves being ruled by the Chinese in a very direct and indirect way. So this is not xenophobia. This is just caution Grenadians are taking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. You may be cautious, but from some of the comments that I've gotten through phone calls and even on the social media, it's xenophobia. There are some who are genuinely cautious about what may be developing the relations between both countries, and there are others who are just prejudiced against Chinese nationals. So it's not everybody that's cautious. Some are just over the top, xenophobic. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
I just want to say thank you to the Customer Affairs Department, if I have it right, because remember you had Mr. Diali on your program some time back?
Yes.
And they had just passed a bill and to deal with situation that will come up, but it's not has gone on stream in full yet. But however, I have a problem, and I went there, and I was treated with respect. Usually, the people don't pay attention to elderly person, but I was treated with respect, and I was impressed by the way I was treated, and I just want to say thanks to that department, the Customer Affairs Department.
Thank you very much.
That's upstairs, the old NIS building. I went there.
Okay,
so
great.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to Mr. Diali. Thanks for GBN for hosting him on the program.
Thank you very much, caller.
All right.
Thank you. It's always good when we can give public praise. We are always quick to publicly air our negative feelings when something bad happens or when we are not treated the way we think we should be treated. So it's always a welcomed move when I hear people praising others for the great things that they've done. So thank you very much, caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Dorothy.
Good morning, Ms. Jeremiah.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yes, I was doing something. I couldn't come in before.
No problem.
Yeah, I just want to read from Revelation chapter 2, verses 8 to 11. And unto the angel of the church in Smyrna write, these things said the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. But I think this is a very, very important pronouncement upon the church in Smyrna. Now, we have churches, we have religion, we have denominations. But what God is concerned about is none of these things. He's concerned about the soul of man. And that church, the people in Smyrna, he said, I know your works and tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. And then he said, look what's going to happen to you. So what is this saying to us? When you are a believer and you are walking with God and you are doing the things that God expects you are with him, not pretending, not being hypocritical, not saying one thing with your mouth but with your heart is a different thing. The pure, and he says you're going to suffer for it. But you tell them, be faithful unto death. Don't change. And I think this is a very high commendation that this church of Smyrna, in fact, the previous one we read in Ephesus, he said, you hate all these things. I know your works and your patient and your whatever, and you're suffering for me, and you're doing this, but I have somewhat against you. He did not say that to the church, to this church in Smyrna. He says, I know your works and tribulation and poverty, but you are rich. So I want to applaud us believers to take that Christian walk seriously. It's not a casual something. It is something to be taken serious, and once you are taking it serious, expect the devil going to react. He's going to fight you, because the devil don't bother with those who we have already. He bothers much about those who have gone to Jesus, to derail them, to make them fall, to make them sin against God, to make them discouraged. That's what the devil is going to do. But he says, just hold on, be strong. You're going to go to prison. You're going to suffer, but I will give you, you inherit life. And so I just want to leave that with us this morning.
Okay.
Don't walk casually with Christianity. It is not a casual walk in the park.
Thank you.
It is a serious walk. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jeremiah. Somebody on Facebook says, we have Grenadians all over the world. How would they like to be treated that way? That's in reference to the comments about Chinese nationals and China's relationship with Grenada. Another post on Facebook says, but when we saw Chinese national beating blacks in China, we have to wonder if that is their aim. Somebody on WhatsApp says, would the caller like to hear other country nationals call their radio station saying too many Grenadians in their country? Decolonial powers plunder the Caribbean, and we still run and embrace them? They still plundering us to this day. Are we publicly condemning them? Good morning, caller.
Hi, morning, my wonderful lady.
Morning.
Now, there's more Grenada, other Grenada who live in Grenada, in blue country. They have all kind of things in other blue country. They have land, they have houses, they're living in some way in some other country. But they don't want nobody coming in Grenada and live. I know why. Why we don't want nobody coming and live in Grenada, but they don't want to go to other country, Grenadians. I know why it's so. Now, I listened to a program last night, in any case, concerned some agriculture people living in some area in St. Mark's and Grenville. Concerned some road and things they had for the pass, and especially on bridges to come close to the land. And the two bridges break up a long time ago, years now. And they asking agriculture people, the Minister of Agriculture about a lot, and nobody, then we repaying it. A gentleman called again, he said he had some, after Ivan, some trees fall across the road, which he used to travel with his vehicle to go to his land. And up to now, he can't go to his land up to now with the vehicle. He had to walk quite a mile to go to the land. And in age right now, and what now, there nothing that could be done to get a road fixing. And the government have farm road to repair. They can repair the road and let it get active and things for people to travel back around for their land to get it stop and plant up things more. Because the man saying age right now, he had the strength to do much carrying load and things from distance. We had to walk to and walk with load and things. One gentleman said he had to walk with wet cocoa. In any case, cross two bridges, with damage and things. Come on, we are a very small nation. We're quick to build in any case in a big country. Let's get Grenada moving and call Grenada, make Grenada great again. Make Grenada great as it used to be in every time, Let's work on make Grenada great, man. Grenada is a little place. It could be neat and nice and well put away. We have to come down with nothing. Do the right thing and do it proper. So it was a long time in any case, Grenadians. Come on, man. I feel about the gentleman who talk about the land and think about the road, which in age right there, they have to pack a vehicle and walk a quarter mile. Bring load from there. The culture people get a road fixed and thing for the gentleman. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You enjoy your day as well. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back inside with Open Line Friday here on To The Point. We'll be right back.
best way to protect yourself from 2019 novel coronavirus is to avoid being exposed to the virus. Additionally, there are preventative actions that you can take to protect yourself and your family from the spread of respiratory viruses that can make you sick. These include stay home if you're sick, cover your cough, and wash your hands.
Let us reimagine how we rebuild stronger, fitter, healthier economies and societies at a September Caribbean Economic Forum, where we chat about adjusting to the post-COVID-19 economy with a panel of international economists with Caribbean roots and our experiences. Bahamian Dr. Peter Blair, Assistant Professor at Harvard University. Vincentian Dr. Wendell Samuel of the IMF. From Guyana, Dr. Dylan Naleen, Deputy Director of Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. And Dr. Eric Strobel, Professor in Environmental and Climate Economics, University of Bern, Switzerland, and who's worked across the Caribbean. Join the conversation about rebuilding our nation's economies.
Caribbean Economic Forum, this Sunday at 5 p.m. on GBN television channels 7 and 11. GBN, keeping you informed with global issues, anywhere and everywhere.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
COVID-19 spreads from person to person.
Welcome back to Open Line Friday here on To The Point, where we give your viewers and listeners an opportunity to call in with comments, questions, queries, concerns. Let's go right back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
Now, it hurts me to see that the majority of us in Grenada feel that we are educated. I include myself too. But what do I think is, or what do I know? Would you call a child or a woman or a man who have a degree in mathematics educated? Or do you call somebody that know how to deal with people educated? In other words, suppose the person has all-round development, whether in maths or maybe at a lower degree or history or whatever, and they've been able to appreciate people and deal with people. For example, would you consider me being educated, me personally, if maybe you tell me something and I play it down, whereas perhaps I could have, when I say attack you, not physically, verbally. So would you consider somebody like, let's say me, or who knows what to say and when to say it and how to say it, being educated than a man that has 18 subjects? Education means fit to live and fit to live with. You live in accordance, as I've always said, with God, with nature, and accordance with the laws of the Bible or whatever you say. Now, you're hearing, even in Grenada, maybe I would say we are not educated, because if we know what is a virus and how it could be caused and what is it doing to other people in other parts of the world, then we will live within the laws of nature and the laws of health. But we are not doing it, and so I cannot say we are educated. Mind you, I included myself too, so I don't want nobody to call and say, because they can't call me because they don't know my number. They may know my voice. Now, I find these things are so strange. People must know how to behave. Behavior includes education, the right behavior, doing the right thing at the right time. For example, maybe a man box you, and you say, you see me, I could kill him. but you turn away from him. This perhaps is education. Or you see the Prime Minister doing something wrong or whoever it is, and you may talk to him mildly or whatever it is, but don't curse and so on. Look at what is happening in America now. Boisterous people are coming down, and people who have plenty money. I don't know what you mean by plenty. They are coming down with the virus. They could buy doctors, but the virus doesn't respect anybody. So we in Grenada, all of us saying that we don't have money. I'm saying it too. But yet for all we are exposing ourselves to the virus and saying, man, the virus can take me. When it take us, what would we do?
Okay.
People have to be educated in different fields. Let me just say something.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly. Now, I look at a program that goes on here. Somebody saying that, they draw 2 boxes, and they may draw a mathematician, Kalisu, and an apple. And they say 2 boxes plus an apple is 3. 3 what? 3 items or 3 boxes or 3 apple boxes. So in other words, we could only add or subtract or multiply things that are similar. In fact, we are always using the word among the boys, among the slates, among the thing.
Okay.
And we say we are educated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Somebody on Facebook says, on the Release It program last night, a farmer called about the road for farmers to carry their products, and I can believe that this administration in office over 20 years, and after Ivan, the farmer said trees that fell and nothing been done. Farmers have to travel with their produce on their heads to sell their produce. What kind of nonsense is that? Tell us how much this present administration cares for our farmers. I look forward to Mr. Peter David to provide a road for our farmers who do not have a voice even when they attend meetings and told too much questions. They talk too much, according to a farmer on Release It. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you today?
I'm good.
All right. I just want to make a little contribution.
Sure, go ahead.
Concerning some of the... give me a minute.
In the meantime, let me read a WhatsApp comment. Just hold on, caller. Just let me read this WhatsApp comment. Do we really have no new COVID cases on island? If so, why the bus full and you have to sit 6 feet outside Bank Nawasa and others? Weddings and funerals 75, others 20 funeral. Today is a social event. What's the difference? Good morning, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah. Something I little want to explain. There are people, a lot of people, just my idea, but a lot of people making comments about the different nation and nationalities and so on. But what is us as human beings, and we understand things. Countries, for instance, right here in Grenada, if we go to Grenville or we go to Guava or we go to Go, you know what to expect, right? If a house is building, you know when it's finished, you might think, but you only know what the outcome when it's finished. You go to America, or you don't even have to go to America, but if the Germans come around, the English, the Chinese, the French, you know what to expect. So any nation come here, you know what to expect from them. If a Russian come in here, you're going to just take time. You know what type of their system, their way. So any nation come inside there, we don't supposed to wonder and this and that and that. We know what to expect from them. You know what to expect from an ant. You know what to expect from a crab. You know what to expect from a bird. If a bird is here, you know what a bird is around, you know. A dog, you know what it is. So once you see something, you just have to be careful. Keep your eyes open, and just a matter of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. Let me go back to the WhatsApp comment. Do we really have no new COVID cases on island? If so, why the bus full and you have to sit 6 feet outside banks, Nawasa and others? Weddings and funerals 75, others 20. Funeral today is a social event. What's the difference? According to the officials, it's ease by degrees scenario, doing a little piece by a little piece. So far, I guess the calls from buses have encouraged the authorities to adjust the regulations for public transportation, whereas banks and the utility companies and so can still operate, ensuring that the 6-foot distance and so on and so forth, and how many people are allowed in your business, and can still, for lack of a better phrase, see their way. With customers coming in to pay bills and so on and so forth. The buses, it's a little bit different because with 5 customers, they're not seeing the income that they would have liked. Whereas for the utility companies, it's still the same number of customers, whether we're 6 feet distancing or you're lining up outside. And for now, there are no new known confirmed cases. The operative word here is known. Let me go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Miss Blossom, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Go ahead.
There is something what is nagging me here. It's about the caregivers for the elderly. Now, I don't know who is responsible for that. I guess it's the Ministry of Health. There are quite a few young ladies that is working as caregivers, but they have no idea what they're doing. You know, I think the Ministry of Health or whosoever is responsible is supposed to educate these young ladies and them and help them, because there's quite a lot of abuse and whatnot is going on around with the elderly when they do take care of them, because they have no idea. They're working as they go along, and they call themselves caregivers. Now, they're supposed to be taking class and be certified to do such jobs, but I don't know who is responsible for that, as I said. But I mean, the nurses and them could kind of call a group, a class or something like that and educate them, help them to do the better job, because it's dangerous for both the patient and the worker. So I hope something could be done about that. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, caller. You have yourself a good day as well. I believe it would be the Ministry of Social Development that is responsible more or less for caregivers. Sometimes, while I agree with you, not while I agree, yes, I agree with you that they should be trained and certified to carry out their duties. But on the other hand, there are people or young people who are looking for employment, and they may hear by the wayside, you know, that lady looking for somebody to see after she mother for the day or during the day when she gone to work, and they kind of get in a blind on the side. So they don't usually go through the formal application process to the proper certification process to get the jobs. They're just looking for like a hold on. Some families, I have heard one family member tell me that they hired an uncertified caregiver, one, because the person cares about people and so on and so forth, and it is cheaper. So it's a lot of things that are happening with that. One, there are people who are seeking a little hold on. Two, there are people who want the cheaper way out, and I agree with you completely. It is dangerous practice. So hopefully, I'm not sure how they can work on it, because the Ministry of Social Development may not be aware of each and everyone who is going behind the door or through the back door to get those jobs. But I'm not sure how they can work on it, but I hope they work on it. Somebody on WhatsApp says this: sir, when our people went to the UK, they did not go to take over the country, but to improve themselves, so you cannot compare. If the Chinese are in Grenada to help us, how many Chinese doctors are in the hospital? How many schools have they built? The Chinese went to Africa for the raw materials, not to help the people. The people have a right to be xenophobic when you have a secretive people being allowed in your country with the help of a very secretive government. Grenadians, stand up for the future of your country. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
Blossom, for some point of clarification, in my simple way, I want to say that the infinitive to educate, in Latin, you have the verb educare, and another verb, educare. Both verbs mean to educate, but they are different in meaning. Okay? And an understanding of educare and educare would give us a more enlightened view of the word to educate. But I want to talk about something a little bit different. Blossom, if you are given one sum of money to do one thing, and you are told, build a playing field, or build a pavilion on a particular spot, which one do you think you would do first?
The playing field?
Blossom. Blossom, it hurts me. I belong to the constituency of St. Mark. Coming up to the 2018 election, in a place called Union in St. Mark, a spot was selected for a playing field and a pavilion, a state-of-the-art pavilion, I would call it, estimated to cost over $3 million. That was constructed. The rationale was to capture more votes in the Union area of the St. Mark's constituency. Someone brought me there in January of this year. And a pavilion, a large pavilion, well constructed, well painted, complete in every way. And when you look to the playing field, all you can see is some huge boulders, maybe too big to be blasted, and maybe too big to be removed by bulldozers. And the whole field is big stones, and everything remains just as it is. You cannot even play a game of lawn tennis on the field or a game of basketball on the field. There is no space, only big boulders. Since 2018, and nothing has been done. I would invite GBN to come to Union in St. Mark's and take the shot of that area to show how money can be wasted and how things can be done backwardly instead of forwardly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I am taking note of it. Union St. Mark, Pavilion, no playing field. All right, somebody on WhatsApp says, what's about the lady that was missing from River Road? Have they found her? I believe they have. I think most of the people who have recently been reported missing have been found, save and except for Mrs. Cecilia Mungo, who remains missing. And that is for some months. Well, Mrs. Mungo is missing. So I'm going to make an appeal here. If there's anyone with information about Mrs. Mungo, please contact the Royal Grenada Police Force, your nearest police station, emergency 911, the hotline 440-1958, if my memory serves me correctly. If you have information about the whereabouts of Mrs. Mungo, please contact the Royal Grenada Police Force. This has to be going on 6 months. I believe it was in March that she was reported missing and she has not been found. But other than that, I think everybody else has been located. Let me go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom.
Morning, Mr. Bido. How you do?
Well, I just stay listening and trying to learn.
All right, good. Go ahead.
All right, okay. So let's go ahead now. I'm going on fine point. The guy who called and said, people calling him on the phone and disturbing me, they must stop disturbing people on the phone. If they stop them, they have to stop because, he wanted to do that. There was a lot of people that, right, don't disturb them. Sometimes people have a relationship and the relationship break up. Leave the people phone alone. So let us go to Australia and India now, right? I'll say sympathy to the cricketing world nation of the passing away of Dean Jones while he was commentating in India in the IPL. He died sometime last week. I don't know. Maybe you know more than I do. So then Dean Jones was a middle-order batsman for Australia. And then when West Indies going Australia in 1988, he made a lot of runs against the West Indians and against the most fierce and dangerous fast bowler like Ambrose, Welsh, Marshall, and the footballer is perhaps Ian Bishop or Patrick Patterson. And when he came to the West Indies, they give him the nickname, not Dean Jones, but the Dean Machine, because he plays very well, right? So then when he leave us now at the moment, all is not lost. Because why? When this life on earth is ended, there is another life beyond, and it's an eternal life, right? So that means, when all of us go eternity, we will meet him again. So let us leave it there for now until next time.
Thank you, Mr. Widow. Take care. Have a good weekend. Let me go to the WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, another issue we've turned a blind eye to is not all white people are racist. So are we going to paint all Chinese nationals as bad? Half the devices and clothes we use on a daily basis was either made or assembled in China. So let's stop the discrimination. Another WhatsApper says, St. Patrick is the poorest parish, yet we have 3 vans loaded with Chinese going to Lavera with 4 Grenadians working there. Have you ever seen the Twinnies doing construction and they give us so much? I don't think it's Twinnies. Is that what? Somebody else on WhatsApp says, Lord. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, Grenadians don't take this virus for granted. No, the president and his wife and the president, U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania have tested positive. The vice president has tested negative. Mike Pence and Mrs. Pence have tested negative. WhatsApper. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning,
Good
Blossom.
morning.
I just want to say that I listened to one of the earlier callers talking about people to do what they have to do with the mask and the different protocols, And I agree with him because we need to be continuing doing a part, even though we haven't yet, got any COVID here. But we have to do our part, whether it's on the bus, wherever we go. We should try to wear a mask and practice the regulation, the protocols, And I just wanted to say that I want to compliment all the friendly governments and organizations that have been really good to us in Grenada, assisting with grants and so forth, in helping us to build our economy. And applaud the Prime Minister on that initiative of taking us on to the 21 with economic recovery, transformation, and being a resilient people. I say hats off to the Prime Minister on that, and I ask that each and every one of us try to do our part to save lives and to protect our country from this COVID. And also, lastly, asking our people to do all we can to to try to do preventative things from mosquitoes so that we don't have any dengue or continue having any of those problems, So let us try clean our surroundings. Even the septic tank outside in some places, some homes outside, they have holes around the septic tank. So I urge them to get a little cement and so on and see how they could plaster it so at least it's not a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So have a blessed weekend and thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. You enjoy your weekend as well. Somebody on WhatsApp, I am appealing to Minister Steele to please do all he can to erect a retaining wall in the area in Belmont where he went down last year. Carnival is really dangerous and we really don't want another accident which could be much worse than the fate Minister Steele suffered. Yes, the phone is ringing. Let me go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Rossam, good morning. You know, we woke up this morning to the news that the chief public servant of the United States, Donald Trump, because these people are public servants as far as I'm concerned. They call them president, minister, ambassadors, but they're public servants. Have COVID or tests for however you want to put it on his wife. And you know, Blossom, the amount of people are shocked and the amount of things that people say. And I respect everybody's opinion, but I just want people to know that Donald Trump, who is the chief public servant of the United States of America, is a human being, just like anybody else that is subject to get sick. He will die. He goes to the toilet, and there's no disrespect. Because first thing we'll say you disrespect, and anything could happen to anybody. But you know what is sad and it amazes me, that the people take these leaders as some ground god and worship them. That is what amazes me, that they run behind them for this and run behind them for that. You know, and I want people to know that the fact is that when they call them public servants, they don't be vexed. But they are public servants. These public servants are ordinary people, and like you and me, and they're not superior to any one of us. And we could get sick, and they could get sick anytime. So I want people, and not only that, but also these chief public servants or leaders of the country that you call them, always have a way, some of them, that feel that the country that they rule is theirs, and that somebody leave it in the will for them, and they could do as they please and pay salaries as they want. And if 10 jab infect the whole of Grenada, go in Parliament and say they're not paying no stimulus package as though money coming from their pocket, you know. And these are the things that amazes me, that people must understand that these public servants, chief public servants, and like ministers, all these people are public servants, and that they're not better than you and I. You know, finally what it hurts me to see that they just have to go and line up in the office for a voucher for school books or whatever the case is. And in the hot sun, you have to come back, you have to pay bus. And those public servants, who you call ministers, but I still call them public servants, doing as though they're doing you a favor. And I want people to know they're not doing you a favor. That is taxpayers' money, and not only taxpayers' money, the Grenadian public people money. Even though we get it for grants or for loans or whatever it is, it's our money. And you're not doing us a favor. And we don't have to thank you. So these are your public servants, and them do better than that. And people don't feel that these public servants and them are superior because the chief public servant of the United States get COVID. Everybody this, that, and the other. The chief public servant is ordinary, not superior to any one of us.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much. With President Trump being diagnosed with the virus, I don't think it's shock for some of us. It's more, it was when for him. The president has downplayed COVID. He has when was the presidential debate? Tuesday, was mocking presidential hopeful Joe Biden for wearing masks in public. He is one of the public figures that have called the virus a hoax, and know that he has been diagnosed with the virus. Some people are more like, see, instead of, he is. So it's not shock for some of us. The only people who may be shocked are his supporters. And something else you said. The thank you. I disagree with don't have to say thank you because somebody did something that they're quote unquote supposed to do. Whether they're supposed to or they're not supposed to and they did it out of the kindness of the heart, it's still courteous to say thank you. Even if you're supposed to give me back the $10 that I lent you last week, say thank you. even if the government builds a school and that's part of their mandate, thank you. I beg to differ on that part. Somebody on Facebook says, highlight the big drain at Boucherie that need to be cleared from the mosquito-infested water in Sates. Let me see the time right. Somebody on WhatsApp says, a question was posed to the education minister. I wasn't happy with her answer concerning the TMCC school in Karakou. That issue has been on the minister's plate almost 2 years with funds she is still waiting on. What funds are she still waiting on? Why all the excuses? The building is falling apart. Holes have to be duct taped and getting worse every day. Are we going to wait until a student or students is taken on a stretcher before something can be done? We already don't have a fire truck, neither an air hospital to take people to Grenada air ambulance. If needed, serious attention. Everything is mainland Grenada. What happened to Karakou and PT Martinique? And we have a do-nothing minister who is not doing anything. The sick people still traveling on the floor of the boat to get to Grenada for attention. That the administration we run and voted for kayaks. We need local government in Karakou and PT Martinique. All right, those are all the comments that we have time for. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for calling, messaging, writing on the social media. Appreciate your participation. It's the end of the program and the end of my time for today, for the week actually. I'll be back with you on Monday, God willing. Be safe. Have a productive weekend. Continue to love yourself and each other. Janelle is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.